health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Welcome to Accelerated Health TV and radio show. I'm your host, SARA BANTA. I'm a health coach, natural supplement expert, and a busy mom of three. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you're notified every week with my new podcasts on Mondays and Tuesdays. And if you haven't already, join my free group coaching on Telegram with the link below. I teach you on a daily basis with tips and tools to enhance your health, and you'll be a part of a like-minded group to support you on your journey, in addition to truly taking control of your health. The protocols and supplements I discuss are all found at SARABANTAHEALTH.com. Today we are talking about Ozempic alternatives for weight loss. Oh my goodness, this topic is just blowing up. Ozempic has become extremely popular as a weight loss drug for non-diabetic people looking for quick results. Saying that, almost 90% of adults have insulin resistance, prediabetes, or diabetes. But what is Ozempic? It is a semaglutide, which comes in the form of other names as well, like Wegovy. It's a medication that uses typically treat type 2 diabetes, and it belongs to a class of drugs called GLP-1 receptor agonists that mimic the effects of the hormone GLP-1. So what does this mean? It's a hormone produced in the intestines that help regulate blood sugar levels by stimulating insulin secretion and reducing glucagon secretion. Glucagon is a hormone produced in the pancreas that raises blood sugar levels by stimulating the liver to release glucose in the bloodstream. Now remember, I just said liver. We have to take care of our livers. How does this drug work? It works by activating that GLP-1 receptor in the pancreas, which increases insulin secretion, decreases glucagon secretion, leads to a decrease in blood sugar levels, which is beneficial for those with type 2 diabetes who have high blood sugar levels. So it's affecting this glucagon and insulin, and it's affecting glucagon by reducing that secretion in the pancreas, which then helps lower the blood sugar. So here we are talking about the liver and the blood sugar. But there are side effects, and there's side effects that we aren't even talking about or we don't even know of yet. Among some of the other side effects that we've already talked about, like weight gain after stopping the medication. And not just weight gain, but when you're losing your weight with these drugs, you're also losing muscle and fat. When you then gain the weight back, you're only gaining the fat back. So this is part of the problem. And as we age, we need that muscle for longevity. There's another side effect, diabetic retinopathy, gallstones, kidney problems, including kidney failure, swelling of the pancreas, increased risk of thyroid cancer. We are struggling with hypothyroidism in general from the spike protein and all of the radiation and toxicity in our environment. So then this takes it to another level. An allergic reaction, becoming hypoglycemic, which is also another side effect of the spike protein. So you are putting so much stress on your organs, especially your thyroid and your liver, to take care of all of these in addition to this medication. Becoming nauseous, having diarrhea, vomiting, blurred vision, confusion, slurred speech, numbness. But among other side effects, the medical experts are warning that these fat loss shots may potentially have a deadly side effect that is overlooked. So some researchers in China believe that they may lead to a person's small intestine becoming enlarged, which puts them at a higher risk for potentially having deadly obstructions in their digestive system. I know for me, my digestive system has been so compromised by just regular diet issues later or earlier in life, and more people than not are suffering from IBS and constipation and digestive issues. So you're adding in this to cause an even bigger issue. In experiments performed on mice, the enlargement of the intestine occurred at around 20 months of taking semaglutide. The research team points out that the clinical studies only went up to 16 months, missing this significant long-term side effect, not to mention any other long-term side effects that we don't even know about. Because this could cause continuous increase in the intestinal length and height of the small intestine, it may become inelastic, leading to long-term upper intestinal obstruction. Then when that happens, a blockage can keep the food and the liquid from passing through the intestines, and this can be caused by damage to the digestive system, cancer, or an inflamed intestines. So one early sign to look for is that you have a loss of appetite or constipation. And if left untreated, this can cause a serious life-threatening complication, including tissue death. And it can also cut off a blood supply to part of your intestine, and that lack of blood supply will cause the intestinal wall to die. Sufferers are also at a higher risk of peritonitis, a potentially deadly infection within the abdomen, but it is the latest potential side effect to emerge. So we don't even know amongst the population, because the long-term side effects have not been researched. They have approved this drug not just for adults, but for kids. And we are seeing these side effects, and people are talking about the Ozempic butt and the Ozempic body that are becoming the look of Ozempic and these other drugs. So the root of the problem isn't obesity. It is a metabolic disease involving insulin resistance connected to fatty liver. So I've mentioned this before. Treating obesity is like giving an aspirin to someone with a brain tumor for their headache. The brain tumor is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Obesity is the headache. We have people that are thin on the outside, fat on the inside. And I actually have a very close friend who has this. She looks very normal weight, 120, 130 pounds. She has 30% body fat, which that also means that she has low muscle mass. And we need that muscle mass for longevity. And that muscle mass soaks up those carbs and that glucose for energy, and we can get away with eating more of those carbs. So there are men and women that are obese but are healthy without insulin resistance. So it's not necessarily obesity that is the problem. We need to look at the liver. And that's why I always say, you gotta love your liver. Prior to 1980, fatty liver disease was only due to alcohol and not found in adults. Now it is in 25% of children and 45% of adults. They have fatty liver disease. It used to be called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease because it was just for those few people that drank too much alcohol, right? So now we have this whole other category that is for adults and children that are just eating the modern day food supply that really isn't food. 62% of the dietary consumption for adults is processed foods. 67% of the food that our kids are eating is that processed foods. It is not real food, people. That is why you want to stick to whole food. not necessarily ketogenic food. I would actually rather you reach for a sweet potato than a low carb ketogenic protein bar. Why? Because we don't know what's going on in that food process, right? So you go to Whole Foods or you go to the natural food market, you get an organic soup and you look on the back label and there's canola oil or there's hidden sugars that are in there. So there are people that are obese without metabolic disease. There are thin people with metabolic disease. And non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is associated with diabetes, even in normal weight people. When the pancreas releases insulin, it goes to the liver. The liver is the primary target for insulin. We want to be looking at triglycerides as a better indicator for metabolic disease, not the HDL or LDL, right? So the triglycerides are high, the liver is sick. If the liver is sick, the pancreas is sick. If the pancreas is sick, metabolic disease occurs, insulin resistance occurs, and you will start gaining weight because of insulin resistance. So we want to look at the other markers related to metabolic syndrome, and that's glycation, oxidative stress, mitochondrial dysfunction, insulin resistance, membrane instability, inflammation, methylation, and autophagy. So it's not just about weight loss, but let's look at the health benefits of weight loss. So weight loss isn't just about vanity. It could be that symptom of these bigger diseases like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, thyroid conditions, osteoporosis, arthritis, brain fog, cognitive decline, cancers, and more. So what are the causes of this unexplained weight gain? So we need to look at those other things I just mentioned. The biggest one is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance occurs when the body's cells become less responsive to the hormone insulin. So essentially, the insulin is the key that unlocks the door of the cell to let the glucose in, okay? That's what happens when it's functioning right. When you become insulin resistant, the signal for insulin keeps just coming at the cell to let more and more and more glucose to get in. And the cells are like, no, it's like being a mom and yelling at your kids. Your kids are going to start tuning you out. That's why they say never yell at your kids. Use a really quiet voice and they'll listen actually better. So that's what we want. We want to become more insulin sensitive, where the cells are like, oh, I hear a little bit of insulin knocking. I'm going to let some glucose in. So when insulin resistance happens, then it becomes less responsible. And that is supposed to regulate the blood sugar levels. When this happens, the pancreas produces more and more insulin to compensate for the decreased sensitivity of the cells. And over time, this can lead to an elevated insulin levels in the bloodstream. And you obviously are going to have increased levels of glucose, but you might not actually see an increase in the glucose levels until you become diabetic, where the body says, I give up. I'm just not even going to try anymore. And then the insulin, the pancreas shuts off the production of insulin or doesn't increase it anymore. And the glucose then starts to rise. And then you know that you have diabetes or prediabetes. So how does insulin resistance contribute to weight gain? You have an increased appetite. So elevated insulin levels can stimulate the appetite and lead to an increase in food intake because the screaming isn't working and the cells aren't letting that glucose in. And then your cells are like, well, I need more. That's why I'm hungry every hour. So you're going to increase food intake, particularly the high carb, quick fix or the high fat foods. And this can result in a positive energy balance where more calories are consumed than burned, leading to weight gain. I have family members. I was with one this weekend where it was wake up and I got to eat. I got to eat. Very thin on the outside, but definitely insulin resistant. And so what's his brain telling him? I'm hungry. I'm hungry now. I'm going to be hungry in an hour. I'm going to be hungry in an hour, and I'm going to eat. And I'm actually craving the sugar and the carbs. Another way that insulin resistance causes weight gain, it reduces the fat burning. So insulin resistance can impair the body's ability to burn that fat for energy, particularly in the abdominal area. This can lead to accumulation of excess body fat, particularly the visceral fat stores around the internal organs, which is associated with an increased risk of metabolic diseases like diabetes and cardiovascular disease. That's why they say that visceral fat is the dangerous fat. It's the hard fat. So if you have a tummy that is really hard, that's that visceral fat that is around the internal organs. A lot of men have that. And that is a survival mechanism. So that can also be caused by stress. Stress raises cortisol, which raises blood sugar, and raises insulin, which raises the body's ability and wanting to store more body fat to protect those organs if we were being attacked by a tiger. So it is a survival mechanism. Then you've got an impaired energy metabolism. What does that mean? It means that the body's ability to use glucose for energy is compromised, leading to reduced energy levels and physical activity. So you might not have the energy to go work out, but then you're sitting around at home and you're hungry. So then you're going to eat more carbs for energy, but you're not really getting that energy. And this can contribute to a sedentary lifestyle and decreased caloric expenditure, further exacerbating the positive energy balance. And this goes for our kids too. So then what happens? Our kids are on their cell phones just playing gaming or on social media. And then you've got the increase in depression and anxiety that is causing cortisol to go up and more storage of fat. So this vicious cycle continues. In addition to insulin resistance, there's a hormone called leptin. And leptin is that hormone produced by fat cells that signal to the hypothalamus in the brain that suppresses or activates the appetite and the metabolism. The more food you consume, the more body fat you have, the more leptin is produced, signaling to the brain to suppress the appetite. This makes sense, right? We have more body fat. The brain says, oh, I don't need any more to eat. I'm going to shut down my appetite. But why does the leptin then cause fat gain? Well, if there's too much leptin, the signaling fails to work and the brain becomes resistant to those leptin messages. Remember, the mom is screaming at the kid and the kid has stopped listening or tuning you out, right? And you all know, if you're a parent, how those kids can tune you out. Well, the cells start tuning out the message from leptin. It is like with insulin resistance, where the cell becomes leptin resistant and the fat cells continue to produce an abnormally high amount, and the receptors essentially downgrade their response. And as a result, the more weight gained, the more fat stores are accumulated, and the body thinks it's starving. Hunger is you can't contain it. And I know you know those people when you're sitting at a restaurant and you are starving, and you're eating the fries and the burger and the Coke, and you just keep going. You don't understand why your brain isn't shutting it off, and someone next to you is able to have a nice balanced meal, not really eat from the bread basket and say, oh gosh, I'm full. I can't even have a bite of that dessert that you just ordered. Even though there's plenty of energy in the fat stores to burn, hunger is high and it's difficult to fight that unsatisfied appetite. What else can be causing the weight gain is your hormonal changes. As we age, especially over the age of 40, both men and women tend to lose testosterone, which helps burn body fat and create lean muscle mass and tends to increase in the bad estrogens, which lead to a slower metabolism and increased fat gain. These hormones changes are exacerbated when they are combined with the xenoestrogens coming from the GMOs, the non-organic food, the dirty livers, the leaky gut, and the environmental toxins. All of these things are compounded. And you think to yourself, well, gosh, hormonal changes that's just a normal part of life. Why am I gaining so much more weight than my mom did or my grandmother did? They did not have GMOs. They did not have dirty livers like we do. They weren't worried about it, but they had a food supply that was natural food and not so much processed food and packaged food. So that's where we go back to just eat what nature was intended. These processed foods and fructose take out the fiber, which slows down the rise of glucose. Then they add in the hidden high fructose corn syrup and the fake sugars. Here we are thinking these fake sugars like maltitol and xylitol, all of these, this not stevia is okay, but even monk fruit and agave, all of these fake sugars increase an insulin response. And then what happens, the body then craves more sugar because it's expecting something sweet with calories. So even if that Diet Coke can trigger an insulin response to then have you seek out in your brain, I need sugar because I just released some insulin and I'm expecting to get calories to come in. And it's not just in the cakes and the cookies and the Ben & Jerry's and the pizza anymore. It's in the meats, the dairy, the protein snacks. I myself have some Wagyu hot dogs in my freezer that I thought were going to be good because they're a good beef, right? They're a good quality beef. You look on the back of the package, high fructose corn syrup. Why are we putting high fructose corn syrup in a meat product? You will be shocked at where these hidden sugars and sweeteners are. And these companies are no idiot. They're not idiots. These sweeteners and the high fructose corn syrup, which is really metabolized differently right in the liver, causing liver fat, which is causing more of an increase in the insulin response from the pancreas, the liver fat causing the pancreas to be sick, causing insulin resistance, causing weight gain. So the food companies inject these foods with high fructose corn syrup, the GMOs, the hidden sweeteners, knowing that it makes the food more palatable and addictive, leading to an increased consumption, which is increasing their dollar signs, then leading to insulin resistance, which is then leading to a need for diabetic drugs for the big pharma, then leading to sick livers and leading to obesity. But did you know when you are increasing your insulin shots, that's going to increase obesity even more? And we're not getting back to the root of the problem, which is the dirty liver and these other things I'm talking about. So hormonal changes, that is going to contribute to the problem. Dirty liver is a big part of that. Then leaky gut and the environmental toxins make the hormonal changes even worse. Then you add in radiation. Over the last 3 years, radiation has skyrocketed and we don't even know. We can't see it, so we're not worried about it. It's coming from our smartphones. It's coming from our computers, from being on Zoom. It's coming from the smart meters on our houses that we don't even know that we had, that they changed out without us knowing. And these are causing an increase in anxiety and depression and rattling our brains. But what else is it doing? It is causing cancer, leaky gut, weight gain, hypothyroidism. When you have hypothyroidism, your metabolism slows down, you have brain fog, you have all of these symptoms, but you're going to gain weight even when you eat the same amount of calories, the same diet you did 5 years ago. It's also going to cause depression and anxiety, and that's what's going on in our children. and increasing blood sugar. Did you know without eating anything, radiation can raise your blood sugar? All of those factors can lead to weight gain. Then you have the toxins, which I mentioned, but these toxins found in our food supply and our environment and water are putting all this heavy burden on our liver and kidneys to filter them out. Our liver and kidneys were not meant to filter the amount of toxins that they are being bombarded with now. And the liver's unable to break down the fat molecules into usable energy, and this can lead to unwanted fat accumulation in the body, and it's having a hard time breaking down our proteins into usable amino acids to build that muscle that we need. And instead, that protein and the fat is just getting stored as fat. Most of these toxins are estrogenic and encourage fat weight gain. You've got the chloride, the fluoride, the bromide. Did you know bromide's in a lot of our products, and it's not even legal to put in products in Europe? That's why people can go to Europe and eat the breads and eat the pastas without the problems they have in America. So that's also part of the problem. And even our organic crops are being oversprayed by these GMOs. Hypothyroidism, I mentioned it. But what is going on? As the toxins may be clogging the thyroid, the liver, and the detox pathways, the thyroid hormones are not able to convert from the inactive T4, which stands for tyrosine and 4 molecules of iodine, into the active T3, 3 molecules of iodine, leading to a slow metabolism, fat accumulation, water retention, and constipation. Hypothyroidism is connected to iodine deficiency, as iodine is known to help with boosting the metabolism, fat oxidation, and fat burning. And this is not even taking into account the spike protein, which is causing unexplained weight gain because it affects the liver. It affects that ACE2 enzyme, which is responsible for water retention and fat metabolism, protein metabolism, and it's causing issues in the lung, the brain, the heart, all of these things that people are experiencing, but unexplained weight gain is another part of it. And that's where we get into the accelerated food guide, giving you the foods, the proteins, the wild meats, the right vegetables, and staying away from the wrong healthy vegetables to support your weight loss. We need to get rid of those processed foods and the fructose first. And the other thing about those processed foods, before I get into some of the supplements, is the processed foods not only increase the appetite with the hidden sugars that I mentioned, that the brain is being tricked that we want more, but it's deadening the ability of the gut to release a hormone called CCK to tell the brain to shut off the appetite. So say you have a processed food meal and you say, okay, well, I went to McDonald's this morning, or maybe you didn't even go to McDonald's. Maybe you just had organic frozen pizza from Whole Foods. And then you said, okay, I'm going to have a healthy wild animal protein dinner with a side salad that Sarah tells me is going to help with the release of the hormone CCK that tells my brain to shut off the appetite signals. Okay, so when we had that processed food, that kills off the villi in the gut, causing leaky gut and making the gut have the inability to not release that CCK hormone when we eat the healthy meal just hours later. So then we eat that healthy meal and our brain's not getting that signal telling us to shut it off. So it's not just the meal that you're eating, it's what did you eat up to that meal? And how long does it take to heal the gut? Well, depends if you're intermittent fasting. It depends if you're eating the right or using the right supplements to quicken the healing of the gut so that you can get all of these things working in line like a domino effect. So we want to look at the Ascent Diet Cleanse. Why this is life-changing is because all of these supplements in here affect and address everything that we've talked about. It affects the fat burning, the metabolism, the energy, the longevity, the mitochondrial health, the glycation, the liver health, the liver. These are supplements that also will shut off the brain's need to want more, want more, want more. When you start with the accelerated keto, it flips your body into ketosis or fat burning within 30 minutes. And this starts teaching your own body to burn its own fat stores for energy instead of seeking out the glucose or sugar. So when you do this, it's the most effective way to start burning those excess calories on your body, lower blood sugar, lower insulin levels, suppress the appetite. So your body says, hey, I don't need to eat right now. I can intermittent fast. I've never intermittent fasted in my life. People talk about it, but now I'm actually able to do it because your body says, I got thousands of calories on my body to burn. And as the body's utilizing those ketones, you're able to intermittent fast. When you intermittent fast, the gut has time to heal. It has time to heal the leaky, tight junctions, that wall, that nice mucosal lining that is able to produce that hormone called CCK to then tell your brain to shut off eating when you do eat a sensible diet and real food that doesn't have the processed hidden sugars or the seed oils that we have to stay away from as well. You increase your insulin sensitivity, leading to that weight loss, especially the fat weight. I have a friend who was on Ozempic for 1 week, and she said, Sarah, I have to tell you, I had this freedom. I did not crave food for the first time in my life. And what she doesn't know is that she's been craving food and craving food and craving food because the insulin and the leptins weren't working in her body, and her brain was being told that she's hungry, she's hungry, she's hungry. Well, accelerated keto resets the insulin and the leptin signals. But then what it does, it increases ATP production, which is your cellular energy, increasing significantly. So then you have the energy to go work out and exercise, get off the couch, get off your social media. We've put additional ingredients in the accelerated keto to break down the saturated fat into unsaturated fat, to break down the liver fat. So just by doing accelerated keto, you are helping your liver cleanse. This will help burn that dangerous visceral fat around the belly that's so dangerous, and the liver fat. And that's what most people are looking to lose. Because remember, if we heal the liver, we heal the pancreas, we start to lose weight. The more a person's liver is defatted and unclogged, the more it's able to break down the fat molecules into usable energy and burn that belly fat. So also, the liver is where the thyroid hormone converts from inactive to active thyroid hormone, T4 to T3. So as it functions better, the thyroid's working better, increasing metabolism, increasing weight loss. And when the thyroid isn't functioning, digestion suffers and unexplained weight gain occurs. This is really important now more than ever because the spike protein is affecting the thyroid and affecting the liver and causing that unexplained weight gain. A lot of people, I've never had a thyroid issue. My doctor says my thyroid's fine. My TSH is fine. The doctor needs to be doing a full thyroid panel. Make sure you ask for that full thyroid panel or get another doctor. You need to look at all the numbers. Accelerated keto also includes a compound known as HMB, which prevents muscle wasting. So Ozempic and Wegovy, these other medications are making you lose muscle while you're losing fat. When you're doing it the natural way with accelerated keto, you're able to actually maintain muscle mass, even actually increase muscle mass while losing body fat. That's why I tell people to throw away the scale and actually go to somewhere like Ascent and Adaptation with Heather Hineker to do an InBody or a DEXA scan, where you're actually getting a body composition and you're seeing your fat weight, your muscle weight, your skeletal weight, your water weight, your intracellular water weight, and the health of your cells, which is measured by that phase angle, right? That all those numbers are so much more important. The accelerated keto is helping with the muscle mass. And then the other ingredients in there are increasing the fire in the digestion. So many of you come to me and say, I'm not hungry because I feel like my food's just sitting there. And Sarah, you talk about eating wild animal protein and increasing my protein, but I can't digest it. Well, the mucal in the accelerated keto helps with that digestion, also helps with increasing more ketones in your body. It's like a second source of ketones, and it further detoxifies the body and the liver. So you want to be using that right when you wake up. Get it in with your coffee or your tea. Then you can incorporate that intermittent fasting. And we will talk about what to eat after in a minute. But adding in then the acceleradine, this is for kids and for adults. It increases ATP at the cellular level by 18 times. When you have more energy, what do you want to do? You want to go do things and burn more calories, but you're also increasing fat oxidation in the body and increasing caloric burn, increasing metabolism, increasing thyroid health, wound healing, and that healthy apoptosis, which is the destruction of diseased cells. The spike protein is affecting the apoptosis in the body. So what happens when you have diseased or cancer cells in the body? The body's immune system is supposed to go in and say, I noticed that's a weak cell. We want to get rid of it. And it has this apoptosis effect. Well, the spike protein is causing a disruption in that. Acceleradine iodine improves healthy apoptosis, improves ATP production. And when you have cellular energy with that ATP, it increases or improves mitochondrial health, which is one of the things that leads to a healthier life. And that's what I had talked about in the beginning. This will increase fat oxidation and help with your weight loss. It will also help with your thyroid hormones. It's providing the necessary iodine for the thyroid, the T3 and the T4. When the thyroid becomes optimized and the ATP is improved, weight loss goals will happen. So you've got your accelerated keto, your acceleradine. The third game changer, I call them my trio for weight loss, is the accelerated thyroid. Most people with unexplained weight gain have suboptimal thyroid function. If it sounds like you, where you are not eating any different than you ate 5 years ago and now you're gaining weight, it is your thyroid. It is that spike protein wreaking havoc on your liver, on your thyroid, on your body. And accelerated thyroid, we've incorporated 3 different types of formulas to increase metabolism, fat oxidation, energy, and weight loss. It has the scalar frequencies to detox the thyroid from heavy metals and radiation, in addition to healing the thyroid. It has the glandular, and then it also has an Ayurvedic supplement called Conchinara. And I've been taking Conchinara for years because it helps with water retention and detoxing the thyroid, boosting the thyroid health, in addition to adding in that glandular and L-tyrosine and threonine to help support energy, fat burning, and the health of the thyroid. A lot of people are getting off their thyroid medication with the help of their doctors, of course, with the accelerated thyroid and the acceleradine. And if you're someone without a weight loss goal and you're of a normal weight, but your thyroid could still be suffering, I still recommend the accelerated thyroid and the acceleradine for energy, fat oxidation, detoxification of the liver. You can then, so I'm putting these supplements in the order of importance. For weight loss, you have to use the accelerated thyroid, the accelerated keto, and the accelerated. That is it. And then be using the electrolytes to support the weight loss, because you need that intracellular hydration that comes from it. And remember, we get that measured with the InBody from Heather Hineker, or across the country by InBody, and check those out, not just from the scale weight. Throw your bathroom scale away and get our true DEXA scan, or that use the InBody to measure that. If you're dehydrated at the cellular level, you need more electrolytes. And that's why I love the accelerated ancient salt, which has over 62 minerals, helps with that sodium potassium pump inside and outside the cell to help with the inflammation outside the cell and improving the hydration on the inside of the cell. Now you can add in the accelerated cellular detox powder, which reduces inflammation, helps coat the stomach and the intestinal lining, because we need to heal that intestinal lining, alleviate your colitis, Crohn's disease, and that's all going to help with the unexplained weight gain. It's also going to soak up those toxins that you've taken in that are causing that unexplained weight gain. Adding in this accelerated silver enhances your immune system to devitalize those foreign pathogens, including viruses, bacteria, fungus, candida, and parasites. So with the spike protein, you will need to be incorporating an antiviral, some sort of supplement, to help with the unexplained weight gain. And we're finding that the accelerated silver is helping to negate what is happening in the body. So I take it 3 to 4 times a day, swish it in my mouth, swallow. You can gargle with it for a sore throat. You can spray it in an eye for a sty or an eye infection, in the ear for ear infections. It's great for kids and elderly as well, because it tastes like water and is really easy to take. We then use the liver kit, the liver flush kit in the Ascent Diet Cleanse. And as you lead up to doing the liver flush supplements, it makes it really easy to do. And the kit, the supplements in the kit, soften those stones in the liver and gallbladder to release them on the last day in the toilet. You will have thousands of stones come out. Now, they might not come out the first one. When the first cleanse, you might just open that door, where the second one, then it's like floodgates and all of those stones come out. When you do that, your liver says, thank you, thank you, thank you. It now can do its job. It can metabolize those excess estrogens. It can burn that body fat. It can process the glucose. It can actually process the fructose you're taking in. But really, we were trying to get rid of most of that fructose. You can also use, if you have done the Ascent Diet Cleanse and you still are suffering from high glucose levels and appetite issues or insulin resistance, you can add in berberine HCl. Berberine supports normal glucose and fat metabolism. It will take that spike from eating sugar and carbs to more of a molehill, where it's blunting that blood sugar spike and the insulin spike that lead to weight gain. You may need to add in some gut supplements. The Leaky Gut Bundle has the Megaspore Biotic, the Mega Pre, and the Mega Mucosa. They work together to coat the intestinal lining, to heal those tight junctions, to support the right probiotics in the gut, not just feeding the gut a whole bunch of just 5 to 10 strains, but millions and billions of them, making too much of a good thing, where the Megaspore Biotic actually goes down in there. It is dormant until it gets to where it needs to go. And it has a brain, and it looks around. What do I need? I need a little more of that, a little more of that, and not so much of that. It helps with E. coli, salmonella, H. pylori, and more. I love using those. You can also use the stem cell activation patches to maximize your weight loss. and they're really easy. You just wear them on your skin. The X49 is a patch that reduces body fat while increasing muscle mass at the same time, increasing energy and recovery after exercise, improving your cardiovascular health and focus, increasing muscle tone and strength, and helping with bone density. All things that actually might increase the weight on the scale, but improve body composition. The Energy Enhancer patch increases caloric burn, fat loss, and metabolic rate. They're known to burn an extra 300 calories a day. They do this by increasing ATP production in the mitochondria, increasing fat oxidation, increasing heart rate variability, and helping with that phase angle or that integrity of the cell wall. I talked about that in the beginning. That is one of those key things that we need to focus on, because as our cell wall becomes more rigid, the toxins can't get out of the cells and the nutrients can't get in. You can also add in the X39 patch, resets over 4,000 genes in your body to a younger state and will help with preventing muscle wasting that that is associated with aging, and will help with fat burning, helps with healing that leaky gut as well. You want to increase your protein intake, and your gut's going to start to be healed where you can actually take it in. And you want to focus on that wild animal protein, about 1 to 1.2 grams of wild animal protein per pound of your desired lean body mass. So this is not only going to satisfy your appetite, but help you build that lean, strong muscle mass, eliminate the bloat, heal the gut, and keep you in that fat burning mode state. So you intermittent fast, you take your supplements in the morning, you intermittent fast, you break your fast with some wild animal protein, you increase the glucagon to insulin ratio, which bumps up your fat burning even more and stabilizes your blood sugar, keeps you nice and steady until your last meal of the day, where you can incorporate some healthy carbs if you want to, but they need to be whole foods. Animal proteins, including lamb, bison, deer, grass-fed beef, elk, wild salmon, they are complete proteins. They include all the essential amino acids, the high omega-3 fatty acids, the collagen, the essential vitamins that we think we're getting from our vegetables, which we're not. And by prioritizing this wild animal protein, you are going to increase that glucagon to insulin ratio, which is going to increase that fat burn, weight loss, and insulin sensitivity. We want to stay away from the chicken, the poultry, and the conventional beef because of the amyloid proteins. They are not being broken down in the body. They're increasing gut pathogens. They're increasing the spike proteins, detrimental effects in the body, tripping up our fat burning mechanism, and increasing fat gain. So here we are thinking we're eating the skinny chicken and we're on a diet and we're gaining weight. Well, it's because of these amyloid proteins. We want to limit the vegetables, the grains, and the beans with oxalates. I have Sally K. Norton on my show this week. We're going to be talking all about oxalates and diving in, but they can be causing weight gain, brain fog, arthritis, so many issues, bloat, and they are found in beans, grains, a lot of vegetables, but I put together a food list, the accelerated food guide, to look at where you literally have a checklist of all the foods of yes, no, or maybe a little bit's okay. And you want to follow that to really help with your weight loss. I promise you, with these supplements, with this diet protocol, you will see a shift. You can then help this by exercising around your mealtime, blunting that blood sugar rise, the insulin rise, either by exercising before or after, even just a quick 10-minute walk. It's going to help with the fat oxidation, eliminate those processed foods, eliminate the seed oils. The seed oils are inflammatory to the body, and they are causing weight gain as well. So all of you that are on ketogenic high-fat diets, incorporating those seed oils, they are causing fat gain. Eliminate the fake sweeteners. That's creating an insulin response, and you might actually be backing up your liver and raising your blood sugar and creating a scenario where your body then wants to store fat. You can also, when you sit down and eat your meals, eat the protein and the fiber first. This is going to fill you up, signal your brain, you're going to stop eating before you even know it. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks for joining me today. If I can help you, you can contact me directly through my website, SARABANTAHEALTH.com. Tell me, have you tried Ozempic? Have you tried any of the supplements I've been talking about? Leave a comment below. Let me know your questions. Let me know what you learned today and share with a friend. I know most people are suffering from this unexplained weight gain, and there's a healthy way to do it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below, and you will then be able to be the first to watch my new podcast every Mondays and Tuesdays. Join the free group coaching on Telegram with the link below. There's no downside. I teach you on a daily basis with tips and tools to enhance your health, and you will be a part of a like-minded group. All of the protocols and supplements I discussed are found at SARABANTAHEALTH.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram under Accelerated Health Products and across over 100 channels under Accelerated Health TV and radio show. Join us every Mondays at 2 p.m. Pacific and Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. Use coupon WELCOME10 for 10% off site-wide. Thanks again for joining us here, and have a great week.